We're gonna talk about free agency moves and the biggest winners and losers, and you know, yeah, whoever want to go first with their first team, by all means.
I mean, I'll go first real quick. I think this team is gonna be a surprise to a lot of people. But I think the Rams right now are winning the free agency. What they just brought in, they just shored up the offensive line to protect Stafford, to protect everyone, to prolong that passing attack that was killing everyone last year. Especially with the surprise of Puka Nakua, Cooper Cup being able to play. They had a lot of surprises and a lot of shocks throughout the entire offense. And I think when you bring in Jonah Jackson, and you re-sign Kevin Dotson, just to show up that offensive line, it keeps the guard strong. It keeps the entire line strong between the tackles and between the center. So I think it's to be for me the Rams addressing just offensive line and focusing on that. I think that's where they're winners in the free agency. Because you have to, like I always said this, you have to make sure the offensive line is strong, stout, and healthy. As long as the front line's okay, you could get any playoff. I've seen Tony Romo make a career of just having great offensive linemen and having a great a running game of damn near 6 yards a carry just off the strength that the offensive line was unmovable. No defensive line get through them. So I think that's something the Rams were able to address, especially since their division, basically the whole division defense has been weakened, and that's something we're gonna talk about down the line. Going close to the NFL draft. But for me right now, one of the winners of free agency is the Los Angeles Rams.
Just a heads up. We could actually give two, but we're gonna make sure everybody get in first, and then we go with the second one. I got one right here off the rip, and we talked about this team already. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I am. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think they won free agency, and it has nothing to do with the Russell Wilson move that we talked about to start off the show, but it's about them bolstering an already good unit on defense. I mean, you talk about Patrick Queen, he's very athletic. You're stealing him. He's a superstar linebacker who you are stealing from your rival on top of that. So you're diminishing their roster to enhance yours. And you talk about how he's very athletic, could stop the run, could pay the pass. You talk about Justin Simmons, who the last couple of years led the league in interceptions, and you got that guy for $11.5 million, a very big bargain, cheap bargain for a guy of that talent. I believe he's seventh all time as a Broncos interception guy, some stat like that, where he's like seven all time in interceptions, alongside Micah Fitzpatrick, creating arguably the best safety duo in the National Football League. So you're really bolstering an already good unit to go along with your defensive linemen and TJ Watt and all those guys over there. So now you can stop people, and you have Russell Wilson at quarterback, who, yeah, I'm not gonna oh my God, Russell Wilson is not that guy. You got him off the clearance rack, which is the good part about it. And he's an upgrade from your former quarterback and Kenny Pickett, starting quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think they won. Go ahead, Dujane.
Oh, you muted. Muted.
I think my first one is actually the Bears. They went out, got a guy in DeAndre Swift, I believe, who's underrated, does an excellent job of adding that change of pace, can kind of slither through a lot of small gaps. They got an offensive lineman to help out with that protection that they must have. Got a decent corner there, and then you got a long snapper that you've done. Those are important. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody acts like that's such a minute thing, but special teams is so important, and having a really good long snapper changes everything, whether it's punting or kicking field goals. But I do like those signings on offense. It's a start. There's some building blocks there, and now they have plenty of picks. They can go and take care of business and start adding more pieces to that offense, so that they can actually reward their defense that really hasn't played bad through this whole entire lack of offense deal. And maybe I feel Justin Fields is going to be there, this gives Justin Fields some more comfortability. And one thing about DeAndre Swift, he is a great pass catcher
Yeah.
out of the backfield, and he will make you look stupid in open field. And I think that's important, especially in this game of fast edge rushers. A lot of these defensive coordinators wanting to get upfield and get at the quarterback. That's It's a real good way to start getting those guys thinking about rushing upfield when you got a guy like that can catch out there in the backfield. So I'm gonna say the Chicago Bears.
I'm gonna go with my second team, and then we'll go around. Excuse me, it's not even a team, right? Because I do have another team, but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna go with the running backs, led by Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think last year around this time they was getting tagged. Okay, they were getting tagged. Nobody, I believe, made over $13 million on a multi-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this year you look at the market is totally different. I remember I buried the running back. I said by 2030 they're gonna be a stink. They're gonna be doing like quarterback runs and all that, and getting Taysom Hill type gadget guys to run the ball in the red zone and all that, in 3rd and 1 situations. But they showed a heartbeat this year as you look around the market. Josh Jacobs and the Green Bay Packers, they agreed to a 4-year, $48 million deal. Tony Pollard and the Tennessee Titans, 3 years, $24 million. DeAndre Swift, you just mentioned him. Chicago Bears, 3 years, $24 million. Austin Eckler, Commanders, 2 years, $11 million. And then you got Saquon Barkley, who I thought was the biggest winner out of the running backs in general. He signs with the division rival Philadelphia Eagles on a 3-year, $37 million deal. And the reason why I think he is the biggest winner is because he's going to be playing, behind one of the best offensive lines in football. And I'm saying to myself, as a defender, who do I stop? You got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on the perimeter. Okay, I gotta choose who I want to focus my attention and detail on, and then I gotta worry about Saquon now, and I gotta worry about Hurts improv and mobile ability on top of that. Like, how do I stop that team? They are building a super team. It's not even close. They just signed Devontae Parker, who I understand, look wash, but anytime you're a wide receiver in New England, you will look wash. He probably still got more game left. Who knows? That's your number 3. Man, the Eagles are really going in for the kill, but I think that Saquon Barkley himself is a bigger beneficiary of that because he got paid. The Giants didn't want him, and everybody's burying his shirt and putting his shirt on fire, his jersey or whatever. You got Tiki Barber saying he's dead to me. Like, my man just got paid, bro, and he's about to win a championship, something that he's probably never going to do with the Giants had he stayed. He's the big winner here, along with the other running backs that I just mentioned.
That's a great point. Running back, shout out to the running backs. I've been advocating for them to get paid for a while, and I'm glad they finally got it. Real quick, I'm gonna go unconventional. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders. Christian Wilkins. That was a huge signing for that defensive line. That's gonna open up so much for Max Crosby, or vice versa. Max Crosby gonna open up a lot for Christian Wilkins to get a lot more sacks. That defensive line is going to be ferocious this season. Also, the signing of Gardner Minshew. I understand the contract was kind of pricey, but he is a fringe starter in this league. He's not a superstar. He's not going to be a top 20 quarterback in the league, but
Clearly
he
not.
can move the chains. That's something they didn't have at quarterback for quite some time now. A quarterback that can move the chains. He has good zip on the football. He's not afraid to throw the football down the field. He can move with his mobile. He can move with his feet. When he was on backing up for the Eagles, when Jalen Hurts went out, he was looking good. He was moving the chains, able to move with that offense. I think the Raiders, it's not that they're insufficient of weapons on the offense. It's a quarterback to get those players the ball, and I think he can fit that mold. I still think they're gonna draft a quarterback in this draft. I see them going. I think Dujane said their names before, like a Penix, a Bo Nix, one of those kind of quarterbacks that's gonna drop further in the draft, like because they're 14th in the draft. So they're gonna draft a quarterback, let him develop behind Gardner Minshew. But I think Gardner Minshew's gonna be able to move the chains enough. I'm not saying they're gonna be, division winners, but I like the addition. I like the fact that they went out and got a quarterback who's not gonna be afraid to throw the football and could read the defense at an NFL level and make Antonio Pierce look good.
All right. I got 2 more recommendations, right, as we segue to the losers here. I'm gonna go Packers. I think they did some good things signing Josh Jacobs. Also, I like the fact that they cut David Bakhtiari because although he's a good left tackle, injuries the last couple of years, so you free up cap space on top of that to make more moves. I also like the defensive signing that they made as well. Xavier McKinney, clear need at safety to bolster that safety position that they've been lacking the last couple of years, even with Aaron Rodgers there. So I think they improved as well. And one more, and this is more of an underrated. I don't think they the winners clearly, but I think they had an underrated, free agency, and that's the Chargers. Believe it or not, when you talk about them signing Gus Edwards and Will Disley, it's not going to be the fanciest moves, right? People's going to be like, is Gus Edwards even better than Austin Eckler? Folks, I'll break it down to you like this. Number one, those two moves right there, although it's little, it's showing me that Jim Harbaugh is fulfilling his promise to build a running game around Justin Herbert. And I think when you talk about Gus Edwards and what he does that Austin Eckler doesn't, he's big. He has size. He could run downhill. He's a threat in the red zone. And Eckler's a threat in the red zone in his own right in a different way. He's more of a catching back, but he's bad in between the tackles. That's something that you don't got to worry about with Gus Bus. We call him Gus Bus because we trust Gus Bus, right? And that's what that guy is. And then you get a run blocking tight end specifically in Will Disley, who's going to open up them lanes for Gus Bus. So, with the hire of Greg Roman, with the two signings of this move, is showing me that Jim Harbaugh means business, and he's trying to give Justin Herbert, who potentially can be an elite quarterback, a running game, which is going to make him an elite quarterback, and that's why they're the most underrated team to me. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to the losers right now. Dude, I'm going to start with you. Give me your losers.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
What's funny is you got an owner that's just sitting back. They didn't really take care of business when they had plenty of opportunities to take care of business here and move some money around and be able to come into this free agency and fill some needs that they have. And they're sitting back, only able to sign one of their own players. And he's just sitting around like, it's no big deal. We're already set. And that's far from the case. Tony Pollard, gone. You needed a compliment to Tony. Tony was great, but you needed a compliment. But now Tony's gone. So that's tough for your running game, which was already struggling. You've seen a few people go off to Washington. Word is that people are tired of Jerry Jones bringing people around while they're lifting weights and showing people around, and that Jerry's about the money and not about winning football games. Well, it's kind of showing. You got to restructure this contract for Dak Prescott. That's a given. And they've just been lazy, been very lazy and kind of arrogant, I would say, because, you can't possibly think that you're set at all when you have the smallest D line in the NFC East. That's why you got your butt whooped by the Packers. So, wow. And being a loser, that's pretty much an understatement for the Dallas Cowboys.
I think this answer is easy for me. I'm going to go to Miami Dolphins. They lost arguably one of the best players to hit free agency in Christian Wilkins. They lost their starting right guard, I believe, in Robert Hunt, who I believe signed a $20 million deal with the Carolina Panthers to give Bryce Young some help. You lose your safety, Brandon Jones. You lose a Varian Howard. You lose an edge rusher as well. You lost your whole team, bro. And you got blown out in the playoffs by the Chiefs. And you weren't thieves in the free agent market. You gave. Okay, you willingly got robbed. You all right? You helped the thieves. And you could even beat the Chiefs. I'm done. Simple as that. Smooth as that.
I'm going with a similar team. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. This offseason, they lost the entire secondary. You're talking about Trey Davis, someone I was high on before he got his ACL injuries, and now he's all gone. Jordan Poirier, Micah Hyde. They lost the entire starting secondary. It's gonna be interesting what happens in this and I guess the draft. I guess the drafting guys. I haven't seen them sign anybody defensively. I haven't seen them sign a corner, a DB, looking to trade for somebody. I haven't seen them get anybody. So I guess they're gonna rely on a rookie secondary and a rookie defense to fix, or not even just to play against the AFC East. And I'm not gonna say the AFC East is a walk in the park, because you still got to see the Dolphins twice a year. And if they're expecting to win that division, how the hell you're supposed to defend Ty Hill and that whole speed team over there with a bunch of rookies. I don't see it happening. So the Buffalo Bills right now are one of the losers in free agency.
I got one more. How can I say? Is it team? I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. Right. I think Trent Baalke once again throwing wide receivers money like he at the strip club or something. Excuse my language. He just throwing money, bro. I mean, Gabe Davis. Don't get me wrong. I like the guy. He had an amazing divisional round against the Chiefs. That's like his one hit wonder episode. My guy's a hit or miss guy, and you gave him $39 million, a 3-year deal. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, he is a deep threat. I get it, but he's very inconsistent. Doesn't have a big route tree. And you're paying this guy like he's a number one. I mean, they did sign Shaquille Barrett, not Shaquille Barrett, Donnell Savage, and he's more of a stop the run guy. Be at the line of scrimmage, so he could get cooked in the secondary. So I'm only going to give that signing a C plus, B minus at the very most. So yeah, I think they toast. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. You know, even Mac Jones, that trade was a very peculiar trade. I'm not gonna say I hate it. You know, it gives you backup depth, but I don't see what they're trying to do right now. You know, I'm gonna go with them.
I'm
But
gonna go
yeah,
with the,
go ahead, Dujane.
I'm gonna go with the Giants. You lose Saquon Barkley, then you bring in Singletary, who doesn't even match, not even close to what you had. Sure, they got Brian Burns, but dang, you traded away a second round and a fifth round pick this year. You need that. Like, I don't know what you're thinking, but you need that, especially for your offense. And they brought in a couple tackles, but your quarterback you overpaid for, and he should be thanking Saquon Barkley for the contract that he got because he should have never gotten that contract. And then you bring in a guy who's never done a darn thing, has had every situation possible to succeed, and has done nothing in Drew Lock. What are you thinking?
Yo, New York, man, you
Real
gotta do
quick,
better, New York.
real
That's
quick.
where we from.
And the Giants are a bubble team for me because of what they brought in Brian Burns. That's why they're a bubble between losers, and I don't know where to put them because that defensive line could potentially be something special. And when I mean special, I mean a top 5 defensive line in football if everyone's healthy. Because the talent that defensive line has, anybody could get through. Or if you can't, you have to double everybody apparently because all those guys on that defensive line, the tackle, everybody on that defensive line could get to the quarterback at a very high rate. So the defensive line is where I'm like, but offensively, they completely just ignored all the needs for this damn team. I don't understand how the Giants continue to do it. It seems like a New York thing because the Jets do the same thing. They ignore their offensive needs and just go after like all these different players. But when you look at the defense looks it's solid, except losing Xavier McKinney. But the defense is solid because that, like I think Lil said a while ago, as long as you have a great defensive line, anybody in the secondary looks great because there's gonna be pressure to the quarterback. They're gonna make errant throws, and it's easier to get a pick. But it just seems like now, like you're ignoring your offense for what? Like who are you waiting for to fix this offense? Like who is the guy you're waiting for? It makes zero sense.
In closing, as we head to halftime here, I think we have to talk about this guy as a winner or a loser. However, I want to put this guy in what category. I'm pretty sure you can't put him as a loser, but maybe you want to put the team as a loser. Kirk Cousins. Okay. He to me is the biggest winner here. Once again, him and his agent continues to finesse the league and get money out of the league, bro. Another guaranteed contract, $100 million guaranteed. This guy's coming off a Achilles injury, 36 years old. He's going to enter in the season. And he has to be the biggest winner here because I don't know how he continues to work the magic, but it's a very, interesting idea because a lot of players right now, Caleb Williams, Walcon Smith, Lamar Jackson, are, either entering the league or going into the league or going to another year without agents. That's the new trend now. You don't need an agent. I can represent myself. And you see a lot of these young guys doing that now because Lamar Jackson did
as
it.
well.
But yeah, and but Kirk Cousins has shown people that maybe it doesn't hurt to have an agent because his agent is continuing to finesse the league. And I think he's a schematic fit for the Falcons. Look, I'm not gonna lie, the Falcons are stacked. We cannot lie. Is what we could feel about Kirk Cousins here on the show, right? We could feel. But one thing we cannot deny is he's probably the best quarterback in this division
Yes.
over Derek Carr, over Baker Mayfield, right? I think we can say that specifically. He raises their floor,
Instant
right?
playoff team.
Instant playoff team. They got a lot of weapons. They signed Donald Mooney to go along with Drake London to get them another wide receiver. You still got Kyle Pitts and you got B. John Robinson. So this team is a little bit stacked. Super Bowl? Hell no. We know that. We know there's a cap. So he doesn't raise their ceiling. He gets them out of football purgatory, but he raises their floor. And there's a cap. So who knows where I think the Falcons should be, win or loser here, but we cannot deny that Kirk Cousins is probably, arguably, the biggest winner of NFL free agency.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.